Hello, I'm Nobby Clark. Welcome to my workshop. I showed in a previous video that I'm going to start building my PM Research Model 3 engine from a kit that my wife bought for me last Christmas. It's going to be a multi-part series, this, because I don't want to make each individual video too long, and I also want to stretch out the build of it to get the most enjoyment out of it as well. Um, my wife bought me this kit because when we sort of looked around at what was available on the market in the UK, the PM Research kits, which are made in America, even though they're imported from America, are still reasonably priced. Um, what I would have liked, I guess, is a Stuart engine kit, but they are quite a bit more expensive than the PM Research ones. Um, the PM Research kit is only the second kit that I'm building from a sort of a purchased kit. The first one was a Myford Boy kit that my wife again bought me quite a number of years ago now, and I think that was probably only about possibly the second engine I ever built. After I built that one, I started building many other engines, which I have shown before on my channel, based on other engines that I'd seen on other YouTube channels, but they were really sort of like scratch built kits anyway. Now this kit, you can see it, well, this kit rather, this engine you can see in front of you is my own version of the Stuart Progress engine. I've called it the Clark Progress. And I built this one in 2021. Now, I got the idea of making this one because the one channel I watch is Tubal Kane, Mr. Pete. He built the Stuart Progress engine kit on his channel, and as he was building this, again in a multi-part video, he showed each stage of this. So I watched the series 2 or 3 times, and then made some notes about how the engine was actually put together, and from that I managed to sort of work out some dimensions for my version of it. The only part that I bought was the flywheel here. This was one of 2 of these flywheels that I bought on eBay, and they are Mammoth flywheels. For me, making a flywheel like this would be rather difficult, one that has all these spokes on it. I guess I could have made a solid flywheel and perhaps drilled some holes in it to make it look nice, but I thought, well, I think it's reasonable to use a nice flywheel that I'd bought for the job. And all I did with this, basically didn't need anything doing to it. All I did was painted the boss and spokes on it, but the rest, everything else, I made myself. The engine frame, the little cam here, obviously the screws I bought. I bought nice sort of hex engine bolts here to join this to here, because the Stuart one, this obviously is a casting, and I can't do that, so I had to sort of make this up from a flat piece of aluminium material and a piece of bar stock here, and join them together. The cylinder and piston I built all of this, made the little cylinder caps at both ends. All the screws here are actual screws. On the Myford Boy engine, it has, I think, a similar number of screws in here, but on that kit it suggested that you only drill and tap for 3, and then have 3 dummy ones on each side, because it's not necessary to do that, but I did. I drilled and tapped all the holes, and I've put proper gasket material at each end. I did take this all apart today to make sure that the piston and cylinder are lubricated, because I haven't run this engine for quite a long time. So I can sort of put this back together again now, if I can get it all to line up nicely. It's always a sort of fiddly job to do this, to get this to line up as well. So I've got to turn it towards me so I can actually see what I'm doing. Which I obviously can't. Let's see if I can get that to line up nicely here. There we go. I think I thought I had it then. So I have more fingers and thumbs here. There we are. That's it. So that's joined in nicely now. And of course, this is basically a wobbler engine. That's basically all it is. And on the back here, you just have a spring. So I'm moving out of the spring, little washer. If I hold that back carefully without pinging that across the workshop, and I made a nice little knurled nut here to hold that in place, so that you can put some tension on the cylinder and cylinder block. Doesn't need too much. That's probably enough. So hopefully that's gonna run nicely. So what I'll do is I'll link this up to my compressor, and we'll give it some air and see if it will go. I've got the inlet here, and the exhaust is through this little hole in the top here. It's not a incredibly difficult engine to build. The real difficulty was that the little air paths that go from this block here, because everything obviously is drilled into this block to give you the exhaust and to give you the air input to it, that the air then obviously goes through the block here is angled into the cylinder to give you the air pressure required. So that was probably the most complicated part to do. I mean, it did take me quite a long time to build this, and of all the engines I've built, I'm quite proud of this one. It turned out to be sort of a really nice little engine to run. So I'll stop the camera just for a minute, and I'll set this up, and we'll give it a run and see how it goes. Well, I'm pleased to say it still runs nicely, quite smoothly as well. I like to run the little engines I make on as lower pressure as possible, because I don't like to see them running at really high speed. This is about right, and you get sort of nice engine sounds from them as well. And there's air coming out through the exhaust point there as well. So that's it. It's still running nice, so I'm quite happy. Well, there we are. I thought I'd just like to share that with you again. You've probably seen this running before if you've looked at any old videos that I've put on YouTube in the past. I have at some point run every engine I've ever built, but I'm quite was very pleased with this engine after I built it. Learning actually learnt quite a lot from building the Myford Boy engine, because that one comes with really beautiful plans, very, very good build notes, and the parts you get are just, on that one, are just the engine frame and the flywheel. All the other parts you supply the metal for and make yourself. But as I say, with this one, the only part that well, apart from the screws, obviously, I didn't want to remake them. The only part I really bought, I guess, really was the flywheel. And these Mammoth flywheels are very nicely made. And I did nothing to that at all. This does run, quite true. I think I may have put the, I can't remember now, but I think I may have drilled and put a grub screw in here. I'm not sure that the Mammoth engines had that, so I think that was something that I did. Not absolutely certain. But as I say, everything else I made sort of, cutting this out and sort of shaping it. Also, as a mixture of work done on the milling machine, the lathe, some bits. I think that this shape here was done on the belt sander. I think this bit I drilled through to give that shape, and then just went round it and filed it into shape. But I was very pleased. Of course, this one, I mean, when I was watching Tubal Cain's video, obviously I made a lot of notes in a notebook on all the sort of dimensions, which I followed reasonably well. So this does sort of look something like the Stuart Progress. Obviously the engine frame is different, but there we are. Well, I hope you like seeing that again. Just thought I'd just do this little video just to show you the build. And I was sort of quite pleased with how it turned out, really, as a scratch build. Anyway, thank you for joining me in the workshop again, and I hope you're going to enjoy the little series on the PM research engine as well. So that's it from me. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm off in my Land Rover now for a little drive round.